With the shocking news of the Knicks trading away Kristaps Porzingis to the Dallas Mavericks, giving away their franchise star player, the team better pray hard they select the right guy in the 2019 draft. With KP alongside Courtney Lee, Tim Hardaway Jr. and Trey Burke on their way to Dallas, New York will have DeAndre Jordan, Wesley Matthews, both on expiring contracts, and Dennis Smith Jr. alongside 2 future first-round picks, giving them a ton of cap space. But it wouldn't surprise me if no star player comes to the Knicks this free agency. How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. We all know the Knicks will continue to be bad, but the Dallas Mavericks might have made the best decision entering the 2020s decade. From losing many games last season to making a trade for teenage sensation 19-year-old Luka Doncic and proven all-star 23-year-old Kristaps Porzingis, the Mavs' future will be in great hands for the next 10 years if both guys can stay healthy, having a duo Knicks fans were constantly dreaming of last season. But that's too bad. With legend Dirk Nowitzki on his last legs, likely to retire after this season, his mentorship to the 2 young European stars will be a passing of the torch from one European legend to 2 others, Wonder Boy and the Unicorn. Going into next decade, Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis will be one of the most exciting duels to watch, alongside owner Mark Cuban, with more glory days to come. Current superstars like Steph Curry and Kevin Durant are in their early 30s. Both will likely decline 2 years from now. While it's unknown who Anthony Davis will pair up with at this point, Giannis has 27-year-old Chris Middleton in Milwaukee, but he's a borderline type all-star. Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum will never win a championship together, and both have defensive liabilities. While Kyle Lowry's almost in his mid-30s, will start declining. If Kawhi stays with Toronto, Pascal Siakam will be the second option. While Russell Westbrook and Paul George only has a 2-year window to make great things happen, Houston as well, with CP3 heading into his mid-30s. The other young duos who will have a chance to dominate in the next 10 years if they work out: Utah with Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert at 22 and 26 years old, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid at 22 and 24 years old. Nikola Jokic alongside Jamal Murray and the Nuggets will be a team to pay attention to for many years. Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns at 24 and 23 years old. Wiggins is still very inconsistent, but when he decides to get his game together, the Timberwolves will be a playoff team. Trae Young and John Collins seems very promising. Of the 5 teams on this list who are viewed as franchise players, every other team has one guy who's a franchise player, while the Hawks remain a mystery. Both Doncic and Porzingis are already viewed as franchise players and potential superstars who are amazing shooters fitting in perfectly with the modern NBA. The 2 are very capable in becoming a top 10 or even top 5 player in the league in a couple years. Once Porzingis comes back from injury, his transition playing with Doncic will be flawless. KP was averaging nearly 23 a game last season with the Knicks, put up around 28 points over the first month of the season, and was viewed as an early MVP candidate. But after having no help in a weak supporting cast, he was fatigued, especially playing on the road and back-to-backs. At times, KP needed to take as many shots and create for himself with no other good player on his team. But he will get a lot easier opportunities with Luka as a 6'8 playmaker, with their pick-and-pop game a nightmare for opponents on defense. KP's arguably the best stretch 4 in the game when healthy, became the first player in history to average at least 20 points, 2 block shots, and 4 3-point attempts last season as an evolutionary version of Dirk Nowitzki. If Dallas wants to slow it down, Luka can always feed KP the ball on the block. At 7'3 with a 7'6 wingspan, he can shoot over just about any defender in the league, and Dirk would absolutely be happy to teach him some of his tricks going forward. Although Porzingis might not be as durable as Dirk was, his offensive game at an early age is just as polished as Nowitzki's was in the early 2000s. Is better on defense and will protect Luka in the interior, alongside excellent head coach Rick Carlisle, who's regarded by many as a top 5 coach in the league. The 59-year-old should be able to dig deep into his bag of tricks in unleashing his 2 stars, also having the right supporting cast. Without a doubt, the duo will get the absolute best from each other. Porzingis will add more tools to his game, where he never learned to balance his offensive versatility, looking for his own shot and reading the defense to create for others in New York. With the lack of playmaking on his team over his first 3 seasons, despite Dallas pretty much out of the playoff picture this season, most of the role players on the roster will look completely different 2 years from now. With 2 of the best at their respective positions in a few years, they will be one of the best scoring teams. When their offense starts flowing, there is simply nothing teams can do to stop them. Both are also good enough to close games and knock down big time shots. 5 years from now, KP will be at the very prime of his career at 28 28 years old, Luka will still only be 24. The two should be all-star starters by that time, make All-NBA first team, surrounded by good shooters, specifically 3-and-D guys with a strong rebounding center. The future for Dallas is brighter than ever. Both prodigies are arguably the two best European players drafted this decade, have extremely high ceilings, without a doubt will accomplish more than Nash and Dirk did when they played together in Dallas from 98 to 04, making 4 postseason appearances together, made a conference finals together in 2003 before Dirk got hurt in Game 3 against San Antonio. Cuban even said not resigning Steve Nash in the summer of 2004 was his biggest mistake since buying the franchise. Doncic has all the tools Nash has, a way better scorer, and has the passing ability, leadership, and skills way beyond his years, averaging over 20 points, 7 rebounds, 5.5 assists, similar numbers to LeBron's rookie season. The two shared a moment at halftime during the Knicks-Mavs game before Kristaps was traded, played against each other in Eurobasket when Luka was 18 years old playing against KP, who was with Team Latvia. Both have huge admirations for one another. You bet the two won't disappoint. After everything Dirk's done with the franchise, it's without question their game will complement one another and greatness will happen. Even though Simmons and Embiid are probably more talented and should be contending in the East for as long as they're both in Philly, the two are better than Luka and KP defensively, but both the European stars' game meshes better together, while Simmons still can't shoot, which will hurt his team deep in the playoffs, and his passiveness to take over games scoring the ball in crunch time is still a question mark. Embiid at this moment is a better player than Porzingis, while Doncic is 3 full years younger than Simmons, will be the better player in a few years. Some will even argue Luka's already better than Ben Simmons right now, and is already a killer in the clutch, creates opportunities out of impossible situations, already having a more polished offensive game where many all-time greats didn't have at his age. With both Doncic and KP fully healthy, and with the game on the line with all the marbles, I much rather prefer the two European stars over Simmons and Embiid right now and going forward. Don't be surprised to see the Mavs win 50 games next season and make some noise in the 2020 playoffs. With a team who lacks getting big name free agents, their quick rebuild and smart decision making will make them elite again at the early part of next decade. Unless Anthony Davis teams up with a guy like Giannis or Jokic, then would I rank them higher than both Doncic and Porzingis. Other young duos like Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton aren't even in the conversation yet because the Suns continue to stink and it's way too early to tell how things will work out for them. The Mavericks organization have made the lasting years of Dirk Nowitzki more memorable, as he will walk out very happy with his team in good hands. Dallas will be one of the best teams in the NBA of the 2020s and will have a chance to win multiple championships, with Doncic and Porzingis together, possibly becoming the best duo of international players the NBA has ever seen and the best in the 2020s. Thank you so much for watching this video. I talk NBA comparisons, amazing storylines to NBA history, and anything basketball that will interest you. If you love the NBA, subscribe for more content, more great stuff coming soon. See you next time.